Hi, it's Tracy again from Tea Plays Nice. Today is the 26th of January 2015. Tea Plays Nice on Ravelry, Instagram, Facebook and teaplaysnice.blogspot.co.uk. This is my fourth podcast. I missed last week, sorry. This one's a bit early for this week, but late for last week, whichever way you want to look at it. Took a little poorly last week and just got the disease again, too much to be able to do much. Had to take time off work, that type of thing. But seems to be okay today, not too bad. So I thought I'd get a podcast done. Did a little bit of knitting, not a lot. So this might be a bit short this week. Yeah, I've been rushing to get things done. I've been a little bit overwhelmed by everything I had on the needles, to be honest. It was kind of like taking over a bit too much. I've had to calm it back and think, right, I need to concentrate on a couple of projects, maybe the odd small one thrown in, so I've got stuff finished to show you guys. So there we go. So we've got some new members in the group. Yeah, we've got a group on Ravelry and it's the Tea Plays Nice podcast group. And when I wrote my list, we had some new members and we were up to 57. I know we've got a couple more, but I'll mention you guys next week. So the ones I've got written down for this week are Itol, Abby S. Hi Abby from Tilly Trout Forum, Trout Mail. And Fran25. Got to say a quick hello to Abby because she was the one that got me onto Trout Mail in the first May. She messaged me and said, come along and have a look at this forum. You'll really like this one from the Boo Knits forum. And I do. I feel really at home in the Trout Mail forum. It's lovely. And the only reason I've got my own is because of the podcast. So thank you, Abby, for the new world you welcomed me into. So sorry. Anne Fran25, Apple 380, Blue 91, Cassie Nono, Charlie Feathers, Devon K, Diana 61, Elizabeth Grace, Filippomi, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Flogignix, Gearhon Lost 22, Irish Gemini, Kelly Dang, Natters Knits. Natters Knits has got an Etsy shop and she does her own dyeing as well. So pop along to have a look at that if you can. Knitting Crazy, Lower Anne, and Molly Munch. Molly Munch is close to me, so hi Molly. It's lovely to see your face on Ravelry, even though your little dog was beautiful. Palm 103. Purple Snowdrop, Soul Stitches, Sue Loops. Hi Sue, you've been so welcoming and it's lovely to see you in the group. Tea and Tea Cake and Victoria Blue. So welcome to the forum everybody, welcome to all new podcasters watching and all returning people, thank you. I really appreciate the support I'm getting. On to what's that you're wearing, and it's a finished object as well this week. It is my Snuggly. I don't know if you can see much about it, but it's my Snuggly jumper. I wanted it to be a bit baggy and it certainly is, but it's one of those jumpers you can pop on and just feel warm and snuggly when it's a little bit chilly indoors, or if you're going out walking the dog, just pop it on over jeans, leggings, boots, whatever, and you're away. And you don't have to faff about it, you're not going to be worried about it. It has been in the wash already, husband washed it, and I must admit the Melange Glitz did, I mean we washed it on a low wash, but it has tended to felt just a little bit. But as I say, it's one of those jumpers that's going to be out walking the dog and nice and snuggly. And it certainly is. But it's lost its bit of its fluffiness in the felting, but I don't mind that. quite some, to be honest with you. It's kind of like, it's not got the new jumper look already. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it is what it is. And it's quite nice and quite snuggly, and it fits how I wanted it to. So I'm really happy with that. So that's my what's on your wearing and a finished object this week. So I might as well do my other finished object, which was in Trout Mail Forum. We've been doing a tea cozy along, and I decided to do Miss Teapot. And it's rolling down a little bit. Miss Teapot. Look at that! It's got pom-poms and it's pleated, and it's got the Miss Teapot sash, hence why it's called Miss Teapot. And it's lovely grey with a mixed pink in there, and then it's got the two bright colours, and the pom-poms have come out amazing with the pom-pom maker. I'm quite pleased with that. But the tea cozy itself is really quite thick. It's nicely insulated because of you pulling the pleats so close. And the actual pattern has got buttons all along there, and I thought, I don't want buttons all along there, so I just put them on my sash, sorry. So, yay! That's my other finished object. Teapot. So I'm quite pleased with that. So if you haven't joined in the Teapot Cozy Along, it's in Trout Mail Forum, and I think it runs on until February. So pop along and look at all the wonderful Tilly did a lovely alien one. It's so funny. She did the hat with the, you pull the yarn and twist and twist and twist, and then you hook it back on the needle and it gives a little twisty effect. Tilly's done a lovely green alien, and it is beautiful. There are some amazing teapots, cozies on there. They're such fun, some of them. So that's that one. So that's my finished objects for this week. And so that brings me on to what's on your needles. I'm trying not to have so many objects on my items, projects on my needles, because as I was saying earlier, I got really overwhelmed and I wasn't really working on anything specifically, and it was getting a little bit too much for me. So I'm working on, at the moment, my Lawrence sweater, which is in the Knitting Den forum. Denise is doing, along with Apple Blossom and you, they're both doing the Lawrence sweater along, and they both got different rules, so you better pop along and have a look at each one. But Denise is doing that one, and so I've been mainly concentrating on this one this week, and I'm on to the decreasing. Now I'm doing mine in a slightly lighter yarn than what it's called for. It's supposed to be a worsted weight yarn, and everybody else's is knitting up. You can see they're quite thick, and I'm doing mine in a double knit tweed because, as I said earlier in the podcast last week, I think it was, I want to wear a turtleneck t-shirt underneath it, so I didn't want this to be that thick because I wanted it to be spring, winter, spring, autumn, winter wear on those late days. So I did the cow, with the welts, and I've done the dividing off for the sleeves, and I'm into the pattern, and I'm actually into the decreasing, sorry, getting it everywhere, I'm actually into the decreasing for the waist. So you can actually see how light my fabric is here. It's quite a loose fabric, but it is actually knitting up to gauge, and I like the fact that everything is measured in inches as you work down, so I'm knitting to that anyway. So, and I have took it off the waist yarn, I took it off the needles once and put it on waist yarn, and it seems to be fitting nicely where it should. So that's really good. So that's how far I've got with my Lawrence. So I'm quite pleased with that. Okay. So that's my Lawrence. Sorry, I'm bouncing up and down. I'm sat on the edge of the bed, just in case you're wondering. So that I'm quite happy with. So that's Lawrence, and that's knitting up quite nicely. Sorry, yarn down. That's Lawrence, and then I'm working on Kate Davies' Western Home. Now I started this last week, and I've done a little bit more this week, not a great deal. It's a bit long going because there's 286 stitches on the old needle. So I'm going to try and stretch it out a little bit so you can see how we're doing. So you can see the cables are coming. So there we go. That's how far I've got. But as I say, I've finished 2 projects. I've been working on the other one quite a lot. This one's had a little bit of love evenings. I think I've done about 10 rows in the last 2 nights. So we're getting there. There you go. You can see that cable pulled out a bit better. So yeah, that's coming along quite nice. Seems to be a little bit of fluff going in there. I'll have to pick that out. Bit of fluff. So that's Western Home coming along. The yarn is super soft. It's that Women's Institute one, and I'm still really pleased with how it's knitting out. It does slippy slidey on those normal aluminium needles though, must admit. It's a bit slippy slidey on those. So I have to be a little bit careful, and it's moving really freely, which I suppose is a good thing because it's helping me to knit things quicker. So that's that one. Now, last week I showed you that I was starting to crochet the Painted Roses blanket. Haven't done any more to that, but Denise on the Knitting Den, she mentioned it and she showed the pattern after she saw this podcast. And Denise, if you're going to do it, hope you do. It is a nice one to do. I need to do a bit more of it this week, and hopefully I'll get an evening. My daughter's down this week. She lives in Telford and she's come for a visit. It was her birthday yesterday. I didn't spend much time with her yesterday though, because she'd arranged to spend time with friends like they do. So I was supposed to be working yesterday, to be honest, so fair enough. Then I was poorly, so I couldn't go in. So I managed to give her a card in the morning, and then she'd arranged to see her friends when I would have been working anyway, so I didn't see much of her yesterday. Hoping to catch up with her a little bit more this week, but you know what it's like when children have moved away from home. They come home and they want to see their friends and fitting everybody in and family, and it can all be, time just slips away. So, but I'm hoping to spend, I've got work tomorrow morning, so I'm hoping to spend some time with her tomorrow afternoon, hopefully. So, and that's the one that the teapot's for. But she's not getting it until Christmas. Must be strong, she's not getting it till Christmas. So, stash enhancement. I haven't really got any stash enhancement no I haven't. No stash enhancement this week. I'm being really good at the moment. We're trying to save for a holiday with said daughter and youngest daughter for June. So I am really trying to be good with stash enhancement. It's quite difficult, but I am being good at the moment. So no stash enhancement. And I need it in my lives. There was funny face. There was some needles I need, and I do need some more Knit Pro Symphony interchangeables in my life at the moment, because I know Lawrence could do with going on a bigger needle now, and so could the Western Home. In all honesty, it could end up going on a bigger cable. Sorry, I think they both need to go on bigger cables now, so I might need them in my life fairly soon. There's no really patterns this week because, as I say, I haven't been around as much as I was hoping to be, so not really much pattern wise, which is quite boring for you guys, because I know you tune in and think, oh, what they're going to show today. So that's a bit boring for you. But I did promise last week that I would show you some of my quilting that I attempted. So these are like lap quilts that I've kind of made. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to show you. I might not be able to show you the whole thing, but this one is in reds and browns, and it's just like a diamond shape, and it's folded over in half at the moment, but it's like a diamond shape. If I can, you might be able to see more of it if I put it like that, so you can see, and it's the reds and the browns, and it's quite warm, and it's backed with just the cream calico. Now this is all hand sewn. It's not, none of it at all was done on the machine. Every little stitch was hand sewn by me, so I'm quite proud of this one. And it was actually for my father-in-law a couple of Christmases ago, who had Alzheimer's, and unfortunately when he passed we took it back. So my husband's got something that we made for father-in-law. So that one sits on the back of our sofas, all nice and snugly for us. And I've had to go and get this one, because this one I made for my mum a couple of Christmases ago. I made one for mum and one for father-in-law. And this one is more like a windmill. And again, it's all hand sewn, and this is beiges, greys and creams. I'm sorry, you're not getting much. I don't know how much of that you're actually seeing, and I don't want to really. And the quilting I actually did in, I don't know if you can even see that, sorry, I'm at the wrong angle to see if you can see. No, I don't think you can. The stitching, it's cream stitching. I've kept it fairly simple quilting on them. So, as I say, they were my first attempts at lap quilts, and they were all hand sewn. So, quite happy with the way they came out for my first attempts. Haven't done much quilting since I left my shop. A year ago now. No, haven't done any quilting of sorts. I need to get it out and have a go, because I've got loads, as I say, I've got lots of material there that I've been using on the bags and things. Maybe I could do some quilted project bags, who knows. But I really do want to get back to doing all the things that make me me, really. So the quilting would be fun to do. So there was something I was going to mention to you guys, and I can't think. What it was. So this looks like it's going to be a really little podcast today. So, yeah. All I can say is lots of people are joining the group and it's getting really chatty, which I'm really happy about. I hope to do a lot more knitting this week. And I'm rambling and I'm waffling because I'm trying to think of things to say. So I'm sorry this is going to be a really short one this week. I promise it'll be better next week. Just my waffling. I'm not with it. Can you tell I'm not with it this week? I was going to come up and talk to you about so much and it's just gone phew, and I've looked at my show notes and it's like, no, I've got nothing there that I need to mention or need to say, and I just feel a bit, oh, sorry guys. But there was something and I really can't think of what it was. Bear with me. Oh. So, other than that, my week has really been just catching up on some television that I don't normally watch. I don't watch a lot of television, I must admit. And this week, the only thing I really watched was on Channel 5. I watched the new series of CSI. Now, I don't know what series number it is or anything. All I know it's the new one in the UK on Channel 5. So I know we're going to be a series behind you guys. And it's the one where Ted Danson's in it as the boss. And his partner was in the car. His partner being his working partner, the blonde lady. She was in the car and it would look like a bomb. And it finished on a cliffhanger. So infuriating because I work normally of a Saturday night. And I'm hoping I'll be able to get home in time and settle down to watch it next week. So hopefully all will be well, and so infuriating. And then I started to watch Law and Order because that comes on right after it, and that was quite a good one this week, she says. Really not with it, really can't remember much, but I know I did watch Call the Midwife last night. I like Call the Midwife and I get really stressed because I'm missing it because of work normally. And I watched it last week. It was quite a sad one last night, really. But I just love the nostalgia type things, and I do love watching it just to see what they're wearing, because some of the knits and in the dramas are like, oh, whoa, that is so beautiful. Why can't we have clothes like that nowadays? And I know people will say because we've got the clothes we wear nowadays are more practical, and I don't know, I just think it's nice sometimes to see the way they do their hair and their makeup, and they're allowed to be, I know that's not true. I know it's TV and it was hard and not everybody did their hair and makeup so lovely, but I love the character Trixie in there. I think she's a bit fickle, but I just love the fact that she's so on trend for the era. She thinks she's a modern day gal, and she's always so pristine and so twee, and I just think that's amazing. I do like that character a lot in it. She just makes me laugh. So yeah, I like that. And other than that, I've been just watching podcasts this week, and I've caught up with Denise and Tilly and Dan and Kay and little uke and knit one per one. And yeah, I watch a lot of podcasts. I do kind of like go around most evenings and I'll watch a podcast. I normally watch a podcast an evening, just or two if they're short ones. I normally pick which ones. If I've got a little time, I'll watch the short ones and then that type of thing. And I watched James. James was back. Dancing Geek. He was back podcasting this week, and I could fully sympathise with him when he was saying Christmas, and he goes, I'm a bit like that myself. It's kind of like I need routine, and if my routine is gone, I'm gone slightly, if you understand that. It's kind of like I go into my own little world and I have to have the structure and the routine. And since, not this January obviously, but last January, my routine has not been there. And I've struggled to get my routine with changing the jobs and finding a job that I could cope with and do is quite difficult. I'm hoping I've kind of like organised it now and it should be okay. But sometimes it's just hard to do it in the routine because we've had staff sickness before my sickness. We would have to do overtime and that throws me out my routine completely. And it's not good for me, so hence I've got myself stressed and I've ended up going sick myself this week. But all will be good. I will get it back on top and I will be able to enjoy my knitting this week and I will be able to spend some time with my daughter and we shall have some fun, and that is the main thing in life. And that's what I keep saying every week. Please have fun when you're knitting. That's what it's all about. Don't let it stress you out. If it needs to be frogged, frog it. If you don't enjoy what you're knitting, just rip it out and save the yarn for something else. There's no laws in knitting. There's no actual rules, although you have to do the stitches right. There's no actual rules that it has to be perfect. She says if there's the slightest mistake, normally it would have to be ripped out, but there is a mistake on this sweater and I've left it in. It's quite a big boo-boo, but I've left it in purely because it is the jumper I intended it to be. It's not a jumper for going out and looking immaculate in. It's a jumper because I know what I'm like. If I've got immaculate new knits, well, I'm saving it for best and they hardly ever get worn. I'm learning to not do that quite so much and learning to wear them more, but this is the jumper that I wanted to be my sloppy jumper. It didn't matter if it got dirty, didn't matter if it got itched, didn't matter because it's a dog walking jumper, as I've explained earlier. So there is a big boo-boo in this, but it's staying because it is what it is. And that's what I've said about you have to enjoy your hobbies. If you don't enjoy your hobby, it's not a hobby anymore. So that's about it this week. And thank you for all the podcasters out there for keeping me entertained. And thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry it's a bit short this week. And next week I'll be back to my bouncing self and show you everything that needs to be shown. Bye for now.